Mr. Chair, Excellencies, thank you very much. It's a pleasure to join you as I've just finished my term in the Democratic Republic of Congo, and I'm on my way to Afghanistan, where I'll be speaking about the DRC. So the DRC continues to face complex political and security challenges, as well as one of the most severe and protracted humanitarian crises globally. There are currently close to 6 million internally displaced people in the DRC, as well as over 4 million returnees. The humanitarian response is taking place against the backdrop of the unprecedented global humanitarian funding crisis starting in 2025, which has very severely affected the DRC. This drastic reduction in assistance, in particular humanitarian assistance, while they represent a real challenge in providing life-saving assistance to the most affected communities, is also a real opportunity to move forward with urgency towards a paradigm shift to reduce humanitarian needs, to reduce dependency on humanitarian assistance, and to increase the impact of development assistance by working on several fronts. How to reduce humanitarian needs, working on several fronts. The first one is the primacy of political and diplomatic solution to end conflict. The second one is tackling the underlying crisis, the underlying drivers of conflict and vulnerabilities, which I call the Gordian knot, such as access to resources. In the DRC, most conflicts are related to land, access to land. The issue of the exploitation of natural resources, the issue of illicit financial flows, and so on. So by tackling underlying drivers of conflict, you can reduce humanitarian needs. The third, by enhancing efforts made in terms of prevention, in terms of anticipation, in terms of risk reduction, both for conflict and disasters. But this focus on prevention cannot take it for granted in conflict-affected countries, because usually the approach is really to run after the crisis of the day. And finally, through the implementation at scale of the humanitarian development peace nexus. Against this background, as triple-hatted Deputy SRSG, Resident Coordinator, Humanitarian Coordinator in the DRC, I have promoted the following approach with the UN country team, government and national partners, and development partners. First, a focus on impact and a more deliberate approach to providing policy advisory support with a focus on key transformational public policies and focus on the underlying drivers of conflict, but also on strengthening national systems. The UN footprint in the DRC, as shown in a comprehensive capacity mapping we conducted when we developed our new cooperation framework 2 years ago, show that it was essentially a humanitarian footprint and a project implementation footprint. So through our new cooperation framework, we have the ambition to up our game in line with the UN comparative advantages by bringing specialized expertise, bringing specialized competencies, as well as global knowledge and comparative experiences in priority sectors upon request from government, to help unlock the incredible potential of the DRC, to help unlock some of the blockages, and to help unlock development funding. Secondly, and as co-chair of the Development Partners Coordination Forum, I have supported a better alignment between the UN and development partners and national priorities for greater impact. In fragile and conflict-affected countries, there can be a tendency by partners to bypass the state, which only reinforce its weaknesses. So we have worked closely with the DRC government to rework and revitalize the aid management and coordination architecture, and both government coordination mechanism and partners development mechanism are now largely aligned. The government is also now setting up the political forum that was missing, that will bring government and development partners. The third topic we've been working on a lot is on the HDP nexus and durable solution. We've pushed for two priorities. First, to put government at the center, and second, to move at scale. And this had not been the case so far. So under the leadership of provincial governors, we've supported the formulation of 2 provincial strategies in Ituri and Tanganyika for durable solutions. So this is provincial ownership. And also, we assisted government to establish a national nexus forum that has recently been launched, that is being chaired by the Minister of Planning and the resident coordinator. And this is bringing all relevant government ministries, provincial authorities, local actors, and all development, peace, and humanitarian actors. So government at the center to move at scale. In this context, I want to say a word about the current Ebola outbreak in the DRC. As RCHC, I have advocated for a nexus approach to the response to epidemics and outbreaks, and to leave something behind, like stronger national system and sustainable investment. During the last Ebola outbreak of 2019, $1.2 billion were invested in the response, and there is almost nothing to show for. So it's very important to leave something behind through a development lens. And finally, we have worked a lot on bringing closer together the UN and the international financial institution. We went from good to great with a focus on policy alignment so that we can push reform, we can push policy change. And by combining our respective comparative advantages with, for example, being able as UN to help the IFI unlock financing for prevention and resilience. So these are some of the things we've been doing in the DRC over the past few years. Thank you for your attention.